Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation, including Star vs. the Force of Evil, which we're getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
Sam Quattro.
Hello.
And Alex Bonilla.
Hey.
It is more Star vs. Force of Evil, big episodes. This episode, parentheses, S this week, Curse of the Blood Moon and others will be discussed on this podcast. Also, Out of Business and Kelly's World that aired.
Yeah, dang, you were about to omit the titles of the other two episodes.
Yeah, I'm not putting them in in the title of the podcast. I'm not going to put the other two. It's hard. There's 5 episodes airing a week. I don't know what to do with the podcast titles, but they aired today, March 31st on Disney Channel, and we'll be talking about them. Like we do every week here in the Overly Animated Podcast. Find us at overlyanimated.com, search us on iTunes at overlyanimated.com/iTunes, or our YouTube is youtube.com/overlyanimated. Very hyped up week of Star episodes. Curse of the Blood Moon, Kelly's World, and maybe Out of Business, but Curse of the Blood Moon, big headlining event. Spoilers, of course. Michelle, did it live up to the hype?
I had no hype, so I was so happy. I want to commend the show for taking the plunge, not only with, letting Marco admit he likes Kelly and Kelly admitting the same, but also forever crushing Starco. That was such a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, forever.
Not ever in a million years see the show letting go of those two, but hooray, platonic friendship forever. This is great. I'm so happy.
Okay,
it was awesome.
Michelle's a notorious Starco hater, so there you go. That's context for that. So someone more pro Starco. Sam, what did you think?
Okay. It's hard to say because I was feeling it. Just the vibe of like, oh, I like you, but I don't want to like you. I just want to be friends with you. And then Marco and Kelly have their thing going on, and it's just like so many emotions just happening all at once. I don't know if it was a good or a bad thing that they kind of had that tie severed together. It is a little bit sad, considering how they were like, oh, I don't know if it was the blood moon or whatever that made us feel this way. And I was like, gasp. I was really into that idea that, you can't blame your feelings on some curse that your your boyfriend at the time, and then you broke, blah, blah, blah. Tom put on them. You kind of have to own up to your own feelings every once in a while. I don't know. I just have a lot of feelings, and I feel like I should just read some fanfic about it.
Oh yeah.
That kind of thing.
Oh yeah, we gotta. In this episode, will inspire many more fic. That's good. The original. Go read some original Blood Moon Ball fanfic. There we go. There's tons of that. Is this episode a fanfic of the Blood Moon Ball episode? Angsty
yes.
fic,
angsty for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the angsty fic.
Okay, yeah, then that's the angsty episode. Okay, it's right up. I see why Sam would be into the end of here. This, okay. Alex, another notorious anti-Starco person. This is not the right guy. Well, maybe it is the right crew for this episode, considering the episode ended up being anti-Starco. What'd you think, Alex?
Is it a hot take to say that Kelly's World is a better episode than Curse of the Blood Moon?
No one's expressed an opinion.
That's what I came out of this with, honestly. Like, Calico is alive and well, although we'll get into details breaking it down. But so lots of relatable feelings, about hey, what happens if you have feelings with someone that they're not in the situation right now to handle those, and how do you deal with it and stuff. So I think there's a lot of stuff in there that's interesting to break down as full episodes. I think that there's still it doesn't feel consistent, and I think that's continuing the season, the final season vibe of there being moments of goodness in the season, but it definitely feels all over the place compared to the quality consistency that we were getting in season 2, and at the very end of the episode, we keep leaving the door open for things. So while at the time, it might feel like a triumph for, quote, anti-Starco people. But, at the end of the day, it's going to keep getting dragged till the very end of the show. So it's, kind of status. It almost feels at the same time like status quo. So that kind of hurts any, feelings of progress going on. So like it's complicated for me. So that's why I take solace in the Kelly episode, since that feels more standalone versus Curse of the Blood Moon, which is like a culmination of a lot of things going on in this season. So but we'll talk about it. But yeah, so Kelly's great. That's my
you're
thought.
also a Kelly stan. That's why you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pro Kelly people here, as we all are. So
I think she's fine.
Okay.
There we go.
That's a hot take.
That's acceptable.
No.
I guess that's a pro Kelly. Like who would be like? What has she done to be anti?
We'll get into it. Yeah, no one can be anti Kelly. She's too good. Okay, I agree with what Alex was saying at the end. This is the biggest, a lot of okay, this is it. This is the Tom Star breakup episode. This is Starco's getting together. What this episode does, Curse of the Blood Moon, is it just says, okay, we're really dragging this out until the series finale, which is discouraging, but it's certainly not as much of the fandom has, like Michelle reacted, the death of Starco.
So you do not believe that this is the end?
Okay,
you think
so
there's
let's
gonna be
for sure. No, this is not the end.
Guys, come on.
Michelle,
do you really have the faith in this show that they're really going to end it here? Do you really believe that?
Okay, I didn't until I went back to the Kelly. I watched these out of order. I watched Blood Moon first, and then I watched the Kelly episode. And when I saw the Kelly episode, I was like, oh my god, okay, this kind of, because that's the lead up to it. Marco's already interested in somebody else, and she kind of already likes him. So there's another option now, and Star still likes Tom, so it's fine. They're all just getting with the other person.
Let me explain my read on the episodes. We can say if we agree or disagree. So yes, there's certainly a lot of feelings between Marco and Kelly in Kelly's world, but it all is brought up because the main plot line of this week is Marco has feelings for Star, and they're becoming unbearable for him. So that's the context for he also has feelings for Kelly, but his feelings for Star are too hard for him to handle right now. That's how we go in the Curse of the Blood Moon. It's all about Marco having feelings for Star. Then we also have a scene of the Star has feelings for Marco, says Tom, which was interesting. And then the end of the episode is the curse is broken, in quotes. What if it never really was the Blood Moon? Star was really feeling it. And they say at the end, we only see our best friends now. They're lying. They're burying their feelings.
What makes you think they're lying?
Because you don't just let go of feelings like that. It was never the curse. It was their feelings for each other. It wasn't actually the curse. That's the main thing here.
We don't know that though. And you're saying, he couldn't go with Kelly because he had all the Star stuff swirling around. Now he sees Star as a friend. He can now go for Kelly.
In quotes, he sees her as a friend now. So I agree. We might do a plot line of Kelko actually dating because Marco is denying and burying his feelings for Star. But it will come back to the surface in the series finale. Okay, let me talk to the fandom again. I did this last week. Fandom, stop being so annoying again. Just shut up about this episode once again. This is not the end of the world. Is this
really getting that much fervor? Because I feel like this is so on.
I've seen many posts of I'm dropping the show. Screw the crew. I'm dropping. Shut up. Okay, this is what we signed up for. It's a series long. Will they? Won't they? And it still happened. It's still Starco's still scheduled for the series finale. It's super annoying. They're just gonna take this long. But this is what we all signed up for. You can't be mad. Maybe if you want to say this episode isn't that great, that's fine. I agree. If you want to say, I wish that we put them Star and Marco together earlier so that we had time to explore their relationship when they're actually dating, I agree with that. But this isn't, stop being so angry. This is the journey that we're on in season 4. All the drama, all the nonsense, that's what the show is. It just sit back and experience the Starco drama. We got Kelko's a great thing to explore too. That's fine. I don't know why Star and Tom are still together. That's not so great, but it's whatever. Just let's just chill out. That's what I have to say here, fandom.
Let's just chill out.
Just chill out.
2019.
Yeah.
Never would have thought that I would have heard you say that ever.
This I understand though, because this was me with Katara and Aang when I was 14, so I understand young Star fans what you're going through.
So it's understandable, I guess, but since we have the benefit of
the perspective here.
being older. We're just like, yeah, whatever.
It's okay. So, Curse of the Blood. First time I watched this was very frustrating because we're like, okay, it's the Tom. I mean, I didn't really think it was the Tom Star breakup episode, but it's like, okay, we're doing big things here, and this episode isn't really that big. But I do think it's pretty good. This would be my favorite of the three. I do really like Kelly's World as well, but I do think this is a good episode. Curse of the Blood Moon. I love the Starco dance, revisiting the Blood Moon, the extended Blood Moon ball sequence. All the angst that comes along with it. I think a lot of the humor in Curse of the Blood Moon landed for me. I know this is gonna not be true across the board, but a lot of the humor in this episode landed. And just exploring Marco's feelings like this, that really worked. Kelly's World was a really fun episode. I think the last 2 minutes are excellent, and then the rest of it is like zany, Kelly, new hair world stuff, which is like fun, I guess. And then Out of Business is pretty funny. It's okay. It's a standard episode.
Out of Business is a terrible episode.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I wasn't too much.
Okay. Is Out of Business worse than all 4 episodes last week? Is that what you're saying?
Remind me.
Absolutely not. Out of Business was better than last week.
I think Out of Business is on par with last week's episodes. It's a standard.
Remind me what last week's episodes were.
Nah, we don't need to revisit them.
Wow.
So based on that, I'm going to say yes, it was worse than the last 4 episodes.
Okay. Look, I mean, it's even less. It's more pointless than the last week's episodes. I'll say that. But we will come back to that in the last 2 minutes of the podcast. Let's talk Curse of the Blood Moon. So Michelle is speaking for the fandom here, saying Starco's dead, and either they're celebrating or they're angsting about it. But Michelle, what do you have to say after hearing what our explanations of why Starco might not be dead? What's your response?
My response is that's really stupid, and the reason it would be really stupid if that ends up being true, because the main reason, like, I honestly, like, of all the ships out there, like, Marco and Star getting together is like really the least that concerns me in my active ships for any show, because they're good friends. Like, I don't care, they're gonna be fine no matter what happens. They're still gonna have each other in some capacity, so it's like kind of a moot point to me. But the reason I was excited was like, wow, so they severed it and now they're friends, is that would be such a great, bold thing. I mean, it would be very annoying that they were like messing around doing the will they won't they for so many seasons, but to pretend that it's over and then to drag that poor corpse back till the end of the finale of the show, that's like terrible. That would be so, like, what's the point? I mean, we've done the song and dance since season 2. We don't need to keep doing
Michelle,
this.
The point is the drama of it all.
No, it's not dramatic anymore, because like, if you're right, then everyone guessed it, and it's like people get tired of being jerked around after a certain point. You can't keep doing it. That's not.
Yeah, well, that's what they're doing.
That's not cool.
That's what's happening.
So
I'd like to
believe, that's not the case, and he actually is gonna be with Kelly, and Tom is a better person now too, and Star can be with them, and they can coexist. I think ultimately that is the best scenario. And I will follow that up by saying the reason Star and Marco should not be in a relationship right now is because they cannot be honest with each other about how they feel. That is such a huge part of a relationship, and their inability to confront that for like a year and a half is so stupid. Marco and Kelly admitted their feelings in one episode, and it was healthy and normal and fine.
Okay,
if Marco and Star can't do that, then they don't deserve to be together. So drop mic. That's how I feel. And forever.
So Marco and Kelly were also Marco and Kelly were also harboring feelings for a while. And Marco, this is the honesty episode. Marco admits his feelings to Star in front of everyone. What a bold move. And Star, I guess, does not admit it. But
that's nothing.
Star has Tom admitted for her.
Yes, this is them admitting being truthful about their feelings.
Star can't do it herself. She's not mature enough to be in that relationship with him.
Also, I like you described Tom and Star as coexisting. Like, that's not a ringing endorsement of their relationship, I feel like.
Can I just say, I agree with Michelle that if we were to go down this road of the two friends being friends, developing feelings for each other, but it's just not happening at the right time, and that they end up going in different relationships, and they're back to being friends. Like, that's kind of a story that doesn't get told as often.
It would be really bold,
it would be more of an interesting road to take, because that's just one that isn't taken that much, and it's a realistic one. Like, the actual parts of this that deal with the struggle of like how to deal with your internal emotions when you feel something for someone who just isn't in a position to receive those feelings at the moment. Like, that's a real thing, and something that I don't think many kids shows or shows otherwise really deal with unless they give you the happy ending of, oh, but they realize their feelings for each other at the very end and they'll get together no matter what. But that's not how it works in real life. So like, exactly. I get. So I agree with the take that, like, if we went down this road of, yeah, it's done for good, this ends with them being best friends, and that's fine, and the show says that's fine, like, that would be great. I just don't have any trust in this show to do that, though. That's my problem.
Yeah, I agree. It would be a very bold thing to do, and I did for a split second consider it, but it's just not happening. But the thing is, it's not. I don't agree that this is like, okay, it would be a bold plotline for them to, like, will they, won't they? Then they get together. It's like, oh, we don't actually work together. We're better as friends. But that hasn't happened. Like, I don't agree that Star and Marco don't work together. We have not seen them together. They still have these intense feelings for each other, as this episode explores. The honesty thing is a fair point. They're also teenagers and dealing with these intense feelings, and they've had kind of crazy circumstances on top of it, like this episode. But they've also kind of been a little more public, I feel like, than these typical relationships go, like honest and open with their feelings for each other. They've talked about it at various points. And this was another episode of them exploring it. So I think the key element that it's missing is that it's not a thing where it's like, oh, we tried and we don't work that well together. No, there's too much in the way, and there's too much like teenage angst drama, like for them to actually have gotten together yet. That's why this isn't the path we're on. Because it's not like we'll do the mature thing and just be friends. Like, there's no mature thing. They like broke a curse in like a very immature manner. Like, this was this episode was not like the mature severing of their feelings. This was like a nonsense drama, supernatural thing. Tom's like leading them to do this, and like during the process, Star's like, was there even a curse when we just have feelings for each other? I definitely don't think this is like the trajectory if we are going to do this bold move of not making them end up together. Yeah, Sam, what do you still forecast Starco at the end here?
Obviously, like, I don't know, like we mentioned it before, Dylan. Like, at least you and I, going back to like over a decade ago, like, we've been through this whole thing. It's really obvious that that's what's gonna happen. And I don't think, Star versus the forces of evil. I'm not trying to like rag on anybody in the creative team, but I don't think they're gonna like do something against the status quo in that sense. You know what I mean? Like, they obviously set up these characters so that, they're gonna be together and they're gonna have this blah 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 blah, and it's gonna be happy and they're gonna kiss and then they'll do whatever when the show ends. It's fine. I am mature enough to enjoy sweet little nothings like this, I guess. I don't know. It's gonna happen. Who cares?
We care. We Starco Legion care.
I know. No, do not call yourself
JK.
The Starco Legion. That is the worst. It's not that I don't care. It's not that I'm implying that people don't care. It's like, for me, it's just like, yeah, call me when, I don't know, Jana and Star get together, and then I'll actually be excited about something.
Well, that's the thing, because the boldest thing would be exploring Star's feelings for girls that we talked about in Ransomgram.
Yeah,
and
dude.
Having Star and Marco not get together, but Star gets together with a girl. Like, that would be the boldest thing to do.
But I don't
Tomko Star Kelly.
Yeah,
ooh,
they could
wow.
do it.
That'd be good, yeah. Tomko, actually, a thing the show has talked about. Or Star Jana. We're coming into the season, we're like, oh, is Jana going to be gay? Is that what they're talking about? It doesn't seem like we're exploring romantic things with Jana after her two appearances here.
It's like a freaking, I don't know.
She's a troll. That's her only purpose is
right.
to troll.
I think, I'm pretty confident we're not doing anything deep with Jana like that after this, unfortunately. But big Jana week. We'll get into that. But yeah, it's the worry with this is that it's going to be more of Curse of the Blood Moon, which is like good, but not necessarily great. We're extending Starco until they get together in the series finale. Like, okay, now we have 10 more weeks of this, right? Like, how are we going to do this in an interesting way? So that's like my main concern here. I'd almost rather them actually break Starko up in this episode and not explore it again, then spend the rest of the season doing the same thing like we've done.
Right. Make a strong decision at some point.
Exactly. Either way, just this back and forth is so annoying. It's season 4.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, I think that they will find a way to explore it interestingly. I think the picture is part of that. I know that there's an episode at the end of next month that alludes to this picture that we talked about, the beach picture. So I think that could get. But yeah, we need to find a way to freshen up this Starko dynamic. I really think getting them together and having them just be dating would have been a good decision, but we never do that. We just got to do something, because I think Curse of the Blood Moon didn't land as well as it should have. That being said, I still think there's some interesting things here we could build on. So I guess let's get into the end of the episode where they need to recreate the dance, and we go back to the Blood Moon Ball, and we get this extended sequence of the Blood Moon Ball dance. And they're inside their memories. Star is scared because she doesn't want it to work. They both like how it is right now with them dancing. Again, more of this isn't the end of them, right? They both say, I like this. And Star doesn't want it to happen. What if it was never the Blood Moon?
And then as soon as she says that, it shatters, so we don't have to reconsider that again.
We'll spend the rest of the season Yep. So, Sam, do you agree with Star that it was never the Blood Moon?
I want to believe that. I honestly do. I want to believe that, if you spend however many years they've spent together, that the silly little Blood Moon curse isn't the only thing tying their emotions together. But I don't know. It's hard, because it's sort of like a placebo effect, Like, how do I explain this? It's so, you believe that because something happened, or because you take a pill that you think is gonna cure your headache or something, but it's actually just a sugar pill, then it cures your headache. That's how placebos work. That's sort of what I feel like this whole curse breaking thing was, because they believe, or at least maybe Marco believes, Star, but somebody believes that the curse is broken because we got through it, and then we're not gonna like each other anymore. So I don't know. Emotions, they're hard. I don't have a smart brain right now.
I love the placebo thing, because that's exactly what this curse breaking is. It's just a placebo. There's no actual curse being broken. They just want it to happen, and so they take the pill of the curse breaking, and so they think, okay, our feelings are done. But actually, their feelings were not affected. It was just this thing that mentally is telling them that it happened.
When we are explained what the Severing Stone does, it mentions that along with the severing of the bond, you have to sacrifice the memory, a certain memory of you. The grandpa describes it as him sacrificing the memory of them falling in love, but Star describes it as the moment of when they were bonded. So I found that difference a little interesting, because they're not. Because obviously, even at the time, I don't think that you could call that moment the moment they fell in love, because after that, Star was kind of annoyed and the stuff was going on. The actual falling in love would not have happened for both people until a little bit later and at different times. It never was a mutual a thing where they were both in love with each other at the same time, sort of thing. So that as well makes it gives it an added layer of you were bonded, but you weren't even in love at the time. So how much does this really do?
Yeah, I agree that there's a dissonance. I never saw the Blood Moon Ball as them the moment they fell in love. The reason they think it's that is because they think all their entire feelings are due to the curse. So that would have started at the Blood Moon. But we know they actually love each other, so it's not the curse. So their feelings would have happened gradually over time, organically at different points. It's not that simple. So yeah, they don't remember. It's a key ingredient here is afterwards they don't remember what just happened. Unclear if they remember the Blood Moon ball in the past, but either way, this entire process is predicated on them being cursed in the first place. So there is a version of this that makes sense if they were never cursed, that this would just not, it wouldn't result in them like not feeling things anymore, I guess. I don't know why they were taken into their memories and what they're not remembering, and all of that's kind of unclear. But yeah, I think that's a great point here. Here's the key thing, is that this is like the first time we've mentioned the blood moon since the season 1 episode.
Yes, the first time I watched, I was like, wait, were they unaware of this the whole time? Like, because I think I was with Tom, because Tom was like, yeah, the dude explained it at the dance, man. You didn't pay attention to any of that. So I was like, no. So like, but I was with Tom. I was like, wait, this wasn't known, and that kind of affects the watching of the episode when you as the viewer have lived with this knowledge for the entire show, and like you're dealing with characters who all of a sudden figure it out. So like it there's like another kind of disconnect there between like how we see the characters versus like what the characters themselves are seeing. It's kind of hard to like match those two together in your brain while you're watching.
Yeah, I think the Blood Moon Ball is this iconic episode of Star, probably the most iconic Starco moment. But I think the reason this episode ultimately isn't like really working is just because this isn't a plot point. This is just an episode like 3 or 4 years ago. Like there's no follow up. Like this can't be the follow up with nothing in between and have it be a significant thing in their relationship. I mean, I guess it can. They did it here, and they did it really well considering they hadn't followed up before. But it just doesn't really work that well because this isn't a major thing hanging over Star and Mirko the entire time. What's it is like, it does feel good to follow up on this iconic thing from before, but if this is a plot point, like I think this is it. I think it's a one-off, and the important thing is they think they're over their feelings. Like if we just go from here, from that end result, that's fine. We shouldn't revisit this though. Like I don't need the mechanics explained of what actually happened here more than in passing in the future, just because this was never really a cohesive narrative, I guess. So I guess that's like I feel like that's a pretty big criticism. Like I don't know if we should have approached it like this, but it did result in this really good scene, and we got to extend their dance from before. Yeah, then at the end, as we discussed already, they only see them as best friends now. So we're back to just friends here. So really, we've made no progress since the end of season 2. Just friends. Yeah.
No, that song, the Just Friends song. Yeah, it's really frustrating.
When's our Just Friends concert sequel? I feel like that's an iconic episode that needs to have a sequel as well if we're just doing that. So Tom, at the end, Tom is like, oh, I felt guilty. And Star is like, you should have, but it's okay. So let's talk about that. Is Tom a giant jerk for hiding this from them for years, as this episode
I mean, like Alex was saying, we kind of knew what had happened. We knew something had happened. And the fact that neither of them figured it out, like, I don't know if that's necessarily on Tom, but he probably should have confirmed it at least instead of assuming Star just knew.
Yep.
Or also like take an initiative at some point, because like at this point he's already figured out that Star has feelings for Marco, that Marco kissed Star. Like shouldn't he piece the things together? Like, hey, this is beginning to be a problem. I should probably fix this so I can have a good relationship.
Yeah, Tom's being like so passive. Like you're dating Star, and you know Star and Marco are apparently bonded, and that they have these feelings for each other. You're just sitting back. Like he's overcompensating, I think, for like the terrible way he's behaving in the past.
Yeah, because admittedly, like season 1 version of Tom probably would have done like at all costs to remove this curse, and I guess this version of Tom is like, well, I don't want to mess with them behind their backs again. So, but yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I don't know. Tom is weird in this episode. Tom has been weird in this entire season. Like at times I really like him, and at times it's like, okay, this is just a guy.
Yeah. Well, he wants to like be dating Star. He wants to be cool and friends with Marco, and he wants to be like a cool, chill boyfriend. So he's trying to like do all of this by like ignoring the problems, but it's not healthy to just ignore the problems in his relationship with Star. Like it is a problem if you know Star has feelings for Marco and Marco still, and there's this unaddressed curse, and you're like still hanging out with Marco, and you just see all this behavior happening in front of you, and he's just like eating it. It's also just not healthy for him to just see his girlfriend like romantically interacting in various ways with his friends. So kind of bad for everyone in the way he's handling this, I think.
maybe everybody just needs to chill out and like go be their own people and like stop living in the same place. Just have some separation. Have like a spa episode. That would work.
We need to go to the beach and have a beach day photo taken. I think that's the solution.
Yeah, but we can still do a spa episode at some point, Dylan.
We could, yeah. Well, the promo was like underwater spa, like the poster for this season. I feel like we should do that. But
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Jackie was in that poster, wasn't she? Remember Jackie?
Who?
Oh yeah, remember her?
Jackie! Skater girl.
I don't know who you're talking about. I don't think she was in the poster, but I don't know.
Was she? Was she not?
I think Jana. Yeah, we'll talk about. Okay, so yeah, then at the end, Jana she gets her soul severed from itself. What do you think of that move, Sam? Jan at the end of this episode with her soul.
Jana.
Okay.
What does that even mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
So, like, how do like? She says that she has like two souls or whatever. I'm like, how does that work? Are they like two small little souls? Is it like a heart necklace, whatever? When like one person has one half, the other person has another, and you just, where is this other soul occupying?
Yeah,
I don't know.
We're confused. She thinks she's half demon.
Honestly, Jana has a lot of soul, I would say, as just like a human being. I think she doesn't need to sever herself from it. I think she's just.
You're saying Jen is valid with who she is, and she doesn't need to be trying to demonify herself. Yeah.
Yes.
We love Jana. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go back to the beginning of this episode, Curse the Blood Moon. We start with this very interesting scene of Marco brings cereal to Star at midnight to them to open so that they don't wake the baby, which I guess is baby Meteora.
Yeah.
But it's not a plot point.
Yeah, but why are they eating cereal at midnight? Like, they're 14. Go to bed.
They just really crave eating cereal.
They like cereal. Yeah.
So weird because there's no precursor.
Yeah, I feel like there's an episode missing where they like babysit Meteora. Like, I feel like
it's coming later, but yeah,
really. So like, if that exists, then that probably should go before this episode.
Right? It makes it seem like it's out of order, but the episodes are carefully ordered though, because Kelly's World definitely comes before Curse. I don't know, but this is such a weird scene, but it's also like a very cute Starco scene of the two of them, and then Marco starts freaking out over Star doing the two marshmallow things, giving the.
All right. Wait. So, two things.
Yes.
One, hot take on cold food, cereal. I like cereal a lot, especially like Lucky Charms.
Me too.
What's the best cereal, Sam?
Honestly, I love Captain Crunch. I know it's terrible for you, but I always liked it. Two, I also do that with cereal. I have to leave 3 pieces together so that they're friends, and I eat them together at the end. That's how I eat my cereal.
Well, you're Star.
Yeah, but like I have 3 instead of 2 because that's like a whole story we can get into another day.
There's a story behind that. Interesting.
No, it is animation related.
Oh, really? We could say it then.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So when I was a kid, I really liked the show Doug, and I thought like Doug, Skeeter, and Patty Mayonnaise were like such great friends together. And so when I would eat my cereal, I was like, I want these 3 pieces of cereal to be together, like Doug, Skeeter, and Patty Mayonnaise. The end.
Wow. Okay, I like it. I feel like there's more thought behind it than Star leaving the second one, so the first one wouldn't be lonely. But Marco is into that, and I kind of like this as a representation of Marco's feelings for Star. It's like, oh, he's like really into the very Star quirky things about her. I think that's like a very endearing way of showing his feelings, and he goes to consult Eclipsa about his feelings.
I really like this scene, like Marco being very open to Eclipsa handling it fairly maturely, and like, hey, like your feelings are valid. You shouldn't. The desire to erase them is natural, but also like you should try to be like okay with that, like accept that that's a part of you, sort of thing. So like this conversation feels very like meaningful. So I like it.
Eclipsa says feelings are worth feelings even if they hurt. Yeah. It's deep. And Marco says every time I think I'm over her and I like someone else, I get marshmallows.
Aww.
Yeah, that's cute. So yeah, I really like this too. I like the this like friendship, mentorship between Eclipse and Marco. We should see more of it if that's a thing. But yeah, it's a nice scene. And then at the end, Eclipse is brushing Globgor's teeth. Didn't get that by brushing the ice equals brushing the teeth. I don't know if that's a thing to make her feel better.
It probably is, like she wants to make him look nice because he's
and like also it's midnight, so like you're like at night alone with your feelings. You like want to do something for him.
Yeah.
This was a week. This should be noted. This is a week off from the heavy Eclipse stuff we got last week. We talked so much on the podcast last week about everything with Eclipse, and this is more about Starco feelings this week. So we'll see if we're back to some of this Eclipse plot stuff next week here. Big Jana week as well. So in the first episode, we can cut between that. Jana comes in and she like steals Marco's wallet, and then she's like, I'm coming, and starts like, who cares why Jana's here? She's coming. That's fine. So basically making a joke out of Jana just randomly showing up. And then she's back in the second episode, and she's wants to hypnotize Marco to help, and then she does do something with him for 14 hours, undetermined, in the bathroom. And then she's tagging along for the rest of the adventure. Sam, do you like the role Jana plays in this episode?
Yes. Anyway, when she was eating the popcorn and living in the drama, good. I felt that I was like, #me.
That's us, yeah.
I like that she just like drags Marco into the bathroom to have like this 14-hour seance. I don't know. Anyway, I love her. Can't wait. Goodbye.
Okay. Jackie was not in the poster, neither was Jana, just for correction from earlier.
Yeah. It was Ponyhead, who is actually a main character in this season, I'm sure.
She's in one episode so far? Okay. Michelle, what are your thoughts on Jana here and her role in the show? This season moving forward?
I mean, it's nice to see her again. She's one of the characters I like the most of the ensemble. I mean, I don't know what we're really going to do with her if she sticks around for a while. But, I mean, I guess she could be a help in a battle. She'd probably be really gung-ho about it, along with Kelly. So, I guess it's like a net positive that she's here. I feel fine about her.
Yeah, we feel fine about Jana. We could do no, Alex.
No, like I don't. This is like another thing that makes me think like, why are we going back to season 1 dynamics? We're in the final season, and we're going back to Jana just popping up being a troll in places. It's. I don't think it's necessarily her, and I don't want to get to the point where it's like I hate Jana. But because I feel like I've enjoyed some Jana episodes in the past, but I think it's more just like she pops up out of nowhere after being disappeared for like a season and a half, and she's the same character. She isn't really adding much to the episode. The occult jokes are pretty much the same that they've always been. So it's just, to me, like, it feels old. It feels like a retrodden territory, and so like I didn't enjoy that. That's part of why I didn't enjoy the Out of Business episode at all, because again, it just feels like over the top zany humor that's already been done by the show. And then Curse of the Blood Moon, it's like, yeah, we're going back to the hypnotism joke, and Marco hates being around Jana messes with Marco. That's the same thing it's always been. There's no development at all. So like it's a one note character, and that's kind of my problem. I think that in small doses it's fine, but like here we had like a very concentrated dose, and I just couldn't handle it.
Concentrated dose of Jana, yeah, that is true. I agree, it is pretty one note of we could do some more depth for a character. It's fine. I don't think this is near the top of our problems list, but it is representative of some of the things we're doing this season.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to agree, but I agree. Like I love her, but she's just like, oh, check me out. I have a weird obsession with Marco, and I like demons. I'm Jana.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll have a plot line with her, an actual plot line.
I mean, in the trailer, like, isn't there like 20 Janas or whatever? So I guess that's gonna follow up on this soul splitting
I don't remember that. Oh,
Wow.
wow. Maybe that is the plot line. Is she got her soul split? Now she's a ninja? Yeah, okay. Let's do that.
20 whole Jannas.
Wow, that'll be fun. Okay.
Love it.
There are
Will it though?
We'll see. There are multiple Marcos in the first episode, or yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's this. I like this scene as well. That's why I kind of like this episode, even though I don't think it's like spectacular. I think like the cereal scene is great, the Eclipse scene's great, and then I also like the scene with Tom. So we go to talk. Marco goes to talk to Star, but Tom's also there. And then, yeah, Janice sits down eating popcorn. Star and Marco in sync explain the marshmallows thing at the same time. And Marco says, and it's adorable. And he says, I like every single thing about you. It's unnatural. And Tom
That's
says,
just having a crush on someone, sweetie.
yeah, Tom says, no, it's supernatural. It's the curse. No, you're just in love with Star. That's what this is. Okay. But no, then they're nonsense teenagers. So we have to do this whole episode about the curse of the blood moon. It's pretty simple. He's just in love with Star. I do like, Tom dramatically intercutting about it being supernatural, cutting in about that. And the two souls are eternally bound. It shows Star and Marco. Yeah. And Tom says Star has feelings for Marco, and she like blushes. I think that's a really good moment too. And let's go destroy our feelings. High five at the end of the scene. Relatable. There you go. Then we go to a lot of Underworld stuff. I will say about all the Underworld stuff, I think that the Lake House Fever episode did this better. I think it's just kind of a better version of what we do in the second half of this episode. Relicore, I think, was better in that episode. There's a lot of
I'll say it though,
here.
like I enjoyed Relicore in this episode at least. Like it's his second appearance, and also like he gets an emotional moment at the end, so like that helps his case here. So like I think Relicore still works.
There's a lot of him. I really like that he just is clinging onto Marco the entire time, even like in the background. I think that's very funny, but he's just shrieking all the entire second half of the episode.
I don't think like that really fell flat for me. Like, he was the guy from Lake House Fever, right?
Yeah.
I don't. Why bring him back? Like, he's just this dude, and he screams. And I was thinking, God, the guy who like did that voice, I hope he got paid well, because that's just like a lot of screaming that you have to do.
It's a lot of screaming.
It is a lot of screaming, and like I like Tom's relationship with him, and like his translation, like I'm gonna drive you because I'm your grandpa, papa. I thought that was cute, but like.
Yeah, I think Relicore is like a gag that worked really well in Lake House Fever, and we could have just let that sit. But no, we have to bring it back and kind of run it to the ground. So I think that would be the anti-argument. Like, yeah, he really worked in that. And I do think he's still funny in this episode, but, it's, we don't have to bring him back just because he was good before. We'll see if we get more Relicore. I assume we're done with him, after this. But we're in a study and we're Googling stuff about the blood moon and the curse. And, then there's like this, elevator scene, and they're like insulting Tom, and I like that. But
you like Tom being insulted? Wow,
yeah, I like that. I like that. Here's a scene which may make you love or hate the episode. So we have a minute long of Marco. There's like this thing this castle that comes up from the floor, and Marco does an impression of this like demon bridge troll, and he's explaining they have to move the couch. And then the second one comes in, and is like, "What are they doing?" He's like, "It's going to move the couch. It's got to move eventually." It's like, "Oh, but they have to fight to the death." It's like, "Oh, move the couch." You sound like you hated this, Alex.
The first time I watched it, I like groaned aloud, like as the Marco monologue was still going and going. It's like, okay, when is this over? Like, I don't know. There's something about Marco being holier than thou, and like knowing everything that's going on. That like,
oh yeah, you before have expressed your dislike of that, yeah.
Yeah, so it rubs me the wrong way being used as a joke here. The payoff of like the two demons like getting like in like petty work arguments, like I guess that's fine, but like it's just the build up to it that's like really annoying. It's like, can we just get to this to whatever's next?
Yeah, I thought this was actually very funny. The Star's zany humor is like pretty hit or miss, but this really hit for me. I really like Marco's entire monologue here. I think it's a nice parody of these types of things. I think Adam MacArthur like had a fantastic monologue here. He's talking for like a minute plus straight, and it was pretty good. And I do like the zaniness of the two of the demons coming in. It's not like what I wanted from Curse of the Blood Moon. I don't know if I was like, oh, let's do a zany giant gag here, but it was fine. I don't know. Michelle, what did you think of this part?
I think it dragged a little, but there were like funny moments, but they were undercut by the length of it, kind of feeling like padding.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to derive humor from the length, but at the same time that makes it long. And okay. So then they just lower the tower.
It's a risky move to do that.
Yeah, I think so. I guess criticism of the Star's half-hour episodes, which they've been doing increasingly much, is that they fill time with things like this long gags. They don't organically make half-hour episodes. It feels like they're writing to the length of the episode. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but that's what it feels like as an audience member. So I would prefer like it's a half-hour because of plot, not because we're padding it with a bunch of zany gags. But yeah, then after that, stuff about Relicor losing his memory of falling in love, and then we get into the stuff we already talked about. So there you go. There's Curse of the Blood Moon. Do we have any other thoughts on this episode? We covered it.
I think it's corn schmallows, not marshmallows, or because it's from Earth. Is it marshmallows? Is that the trick?
What is marshmallows even?
I think they said marshmallows, but they also said corn. There's like corn flakes on Marco's tie. It's kind of confusing. Also, everything's corn. Yeah, I understand why I would think that, but there you go. Let's talk about Kelly's
Just
world.
like in real life, everything.
Also, Marco doesn't like nachos anymore. Did I miss that episode?
Nope.
Okay, so that was just introduced.
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, Jen is like, Marco's like, you hypnotized me, and now I don't like nachos anymore. I was like, wait, is this a reference to an episode, or like when did this happen? It's like, but yeah, like it's hard to not like nachos, especially if he names his Dragon Cycle nachos.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what's going on there.
He got hypnotized out of it, and he looks good now. So Jenna thinks she did a good job. Yeah.
Nachos, man.
Okay, they're Kelly's world. They're okay. Oh, no, hot takes on cold food nachos.
Hot takes on cold food. Yeah, they're okay.
Okay, nachos are good. So Kelly's world. This is our long anticipated going into of where Kelly comes from, and it's Hera world, and they fight.
Excuse you, it's the kingdom of Willandia. Show it some respect.
They are Woolits. That is the peoples of Willandia. And there's libraries. And, yep.
It's very colorful. It's very hairy.
Michelle, what did you think of finally seeing the Kelly's birthplace? What do you think of Willandia?
I mean, it makes perfect sense for Kelly. I mean, so some of the relatives are the houses, and some of them are people who live inside of the other house people. That's what tripped me up. But everything else just you punch people for currency. That's pretty great. And that's why they have so much hair, so that they have insulation when they get punched all the time. I love that concept.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like that. Alex, notorious Kelly stan.
Yeah, and I think that's even the idea of like them being houses. Like that's even set up by the initial introduction of Kelly and Tad, because Tad is using Kelly as a house.
Yeah.
So and then Kelly is using her mom as a house. So like it's all like a Russian doll situation here, where like there might be even bigger houses for the house size ones. But I enjoyed this trip into Kelly world. Like it's all very, as Michelle mentioned, like it all fits with Kelly's character up to this point, which we admittedly know very little of, but like the little we know of her, it fits with the world. And then just like going from place to place, it never felt like they were really like in one place for too long, and it was all goofy fun.
Goofy fun. Yeah. I think like the first, for the last 2 minutes of this episode, I think are really gorgeous and interesting, like feeling stuff we're getting into, and then the rest is kind of like zany Star stuff, and it's kind of like special because it's Kelly, but it also feels like Star's classic zany humor. for everything we're exploring here.
Yeah, I think a big part of this that like I love this episode is that the chemistry between Marco and Kelly is much more similar to the chemistry of Star and Marco in season 1. And like when you're initially watching season 1, you get all the zany humor, but like at least speaking personally, you get it all, but you stick around because you enjoy Star and Marco fighting together and like having witty banter between each other. There's not that much romantic drama going on at the time, and most of this episode is basically that. Like Marco and Kelly, like at the very end, they have that like awesome fight together. That Marco is like listening to Kelly's problems, and Kelly is being open and honest about things the way Star would have been in earlier seasons before she lets all the romantic stuff get to her head. So like it feels. I mean, I said before, like it feels season 1 in a bad way, but like this is using the good part of season 1 to its advantage, and like finally getting like two characters who actually enjoy being around each other fully without any baggage, and like that feels refreshing at this point.
Yeah, I think that last point's interesting. That there's the Starco drama is just baggage that is like weighing down their dynamic, which is the core of the show. I think that's like a really valid point. I think like the show still has a lot of episodes, which is just pure Star and Marco happiness, zaniness between the two of them. I think, Out of Business is one of those episodes. Even if you don't like it, I think that's a classic Star and Marco doing something episode. Same thing with the first episode last week. Which I really liked. The Yada Yada Berries. I think that's like Star and Marco investigating things. So I think the show has held on to that, but probably not to the extent that it could have. And maybe that is why I do agree Marco and Kelly do have great chemistry. I think like Marco's a good, just like a really good sidekick to like these characters. And I guess, Kelly's coming into her own the last, season, half of a season here. I don't know. I do think they pop. Sam, what do you think of Marco and Kelly in this episode? Do you feel the chemistry between them?
I guess. I don't know. It's
not as much as Star and Marco, clearly.
Yes, but like at the same time, I recognize that they like each other and they kind of want to be together, and that's fine. Who cares what I think? They just want to live their best lives, and they want to be breakup buddies and hold hands, and I think that's fine.
Yeah, breakup buddies. That is a classic this show. Booth buddies, breakup buddies here. We got at the end of this episode, Marcos says his feelings for Star getting in the way of other feelings, and then they're both blushing, and then we get like music and sparklers set off in the library. They're breakup buddies. Kelly kisses Marco on the cheek, and then they're like holding hands. So it was a lot of Kelko. Alex, are they going to be dating after this? Now that Marco thinks he's over Star?
We're going to get one Kelko episode, and then it'll be right back to Marco. You're like, wait a minute, does Star actually have feelings for me still? Oh, I should look into that. So I'm going to enjoy like the pureness of Kelko while it lasts, but like I know it's not going to last. And I will say also, like, the hesitance I still have is that we're still, like, sticking it to the reboundness of it, which I don't think is necessarily, like, a fully healthy way to go about things, framing it in that way. But, like, at the same time, like, they both admit that they have feelings for each other aside from that. Like, it's, like, because they're trying to frame it as like, well, we're both coming off of breakups, and so now is like the right time to do it. But like framing it in that way is still a little bit. It raises some issues as to like how stable that relationship is going to be later on.
Yeah, they definitely present it as having feelings separate from it like being a reboundness, breakup buddies. And I think we buy that they do have genuine feelings for each other, but they both make clear that they still do have feelings for the other person in their life. And I think that's valid. I think it is valid I think they can both have genuine feelings for each other while also having feelings for Tad and Star. It's like tragic, but it also like, we're probably going to explore this now that we ended Curse the Blood Moon when we did. That being said, it's not like Kelly didn't say she's over Tad. She said like she couldn't block him. So that's, I guess, something that we'd still need to resolve. Like,
I hope she gets over him. He's a real dingle dang. Like,
Yeah.
I hate him. Like he's out there like being like a bird's nest. Like, okay, whatever, Tad. Kelly can do like so much better.
He's being his best self. He's nesting.
But then why? No, but like.
Still isn't good enough though. That's the problem.
And like he's harassing Kelly at this point. Like, hey, look at how great I've been since we broke up. So, like, it's just showing off that you're better off without her. So why? Like, what good is that going to do, Kelly? Like,
the real shock of the episode is that Tad is alive. Tad is alive. Yeah, but he's dead to me, says Kelly. But everyone's like, oh, I forgot Tad. Tad had a dramatic death in the season 3 finale. How dare you? Do you not remember Kelly? Like, that was it was an iconic moment. So do you all just Tad haters? That's all I have to say about this.
I mean, this episode didn't do much to like fight that. Like, I'm gonna keep hating Tad just.
Well, yeah, the show wants you to hate Tad. I just defend him, so that's okay. Just because the show wants me to hate Tad doesn't mean I will. He's nesting. He's contributing.
Also, can we say how bold it is that it's like life isn't worth living unless you're making a difference? Like, no, that's not a healthy way to live life. Okay, like you're allowed to be happy, just doing your thing. Like you don't have to feel the pressure of making a lot of other people's lives better in the process, and like you feeling like a failure if you're not doing that. And that's why Kelly feels depressed because she's getting these kind of like grand statements about happiness in life. And like, right, and she's like, okay, well, I'm depressed now. I'm gonna like lay on the couch because I'm not doing that.
It's not a nice thing he's doing for sure. And this is like a parody of things people will do in our world. This is a classic. This is a real thing. Like if you break up with someone and then they're like doing some activist thing and they're like shoving it in your face, right? This is the premise for what we're doing with Tad here, and I do think it's very funny. I feel like Tad. I feel like I hated him at first, or like I hated the concept in the show. I feel like we've used Tad in a very funny way the last few appearances he's had. I think like, I don't know. Do you agree, Alex? Like, well, you hate Tad here, but it is fun.
He's filling his role well. I agree with that. Like, he's serving the bad ex-boyfriend right. The only problem is I don't really get why Kelly in the past has kept going back to Tad because I don't think the show has done enough to really like sell us on that part of it.
Yeah, but I think it's also a statement about just how this works in life. You know, you have a friend. You're like, why do they keep going back to this person?
Yeah.
I think that's what we're kind of going for here. But we did that already, though. So I do think we can move on from Tad here. And I don't know, maybe we will, although that would require Kelly being in another episode soon, as we alluded to. Who knows if that will happen. What are other highlights do we have from this episode? Yeah, it's just hair. Yeah, the map Kelly drew for Marco. I liked that. Kelly's dad. It's like threatening Marco.
I thought that there were like a couple of lesbians in this, but I'm not sure.
No, you're right. There are some gay house because one of the house when they're going to the train or the bus or whatever, one of the houses says, "Oh, I'm late for work," and then like the smaller one says, "Have a good day, sweetie," and like they both have female voices. So like,
but I don't know, like what does it mean?
It's gay hair, Sam. Okay,
I know, but like, do you usually call your girlfriend, whatever, sweetie? Like, I feel like that's more like for like a kid. So maybe it's like mother-daughter. I don't know. Who knows, man?
That's also possible. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's that's how we're getting our queer rep this season is gay hair. Yeah.
Gay hair.
No, we have Bi-Star, so everything's okay. Hopefully we'll follow up on that. Still nothing since then. They're returning the library book. Marco gets pink hair to wear as he's going around, and they're doing like dual karate too. That's another thing.
They fuse.
Yeah, they fuse. What's Marco and Kelly's fusion?
Well, we can't call it Calico because that's the ship name. Bushwhacker. I don't know.
Ah! No,
Bushwhacker.
No.
I don't know. Okay. Then
hey, if anyone has a better alternative, feel free to
let us know in the comments. Yeah.
What is a rock? That would be them.
I guess
moss.
Rocks. Moss. Yeah.
Moss. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's.
But yeah, like speaking of, like, I think we've already mentioned like how beautiful the ending is. Like the choreography is really good. The librarian is a nice adversary with like her 4 swords, and they do like some sword fighting before the kicking starts. Like it's all a pretty good classic Star fight in my opinion.
Yeah. I think so. And then just the visuals of the ending and them their feelings for each other and their blushing and everything. I think that's all really fantastic. So I really do really like the end of this episode. I think this would be my, I guess, like fourth favorite of the season or something. If you want to say it's better than Curse of the Blood Moon, I'm fine with that because I don't know if either's like standing out for me too much. But it was very fun to see. This is like a requisite thing to do at the end. Finally, see the Kelly origins. And we'll see what we do with Kelly moving forward. Any other Kelly comments we didn't get out there?
Well, yeah, like, I don't know. I felt very relatable to Kelly in terms of, like, the opening impression of her. Like, we've seen Kelly depressed before, but, like, that's a part of her personality that I relate to a lot. And so, like, her just, like, watching TV laid out on the couch, like, it's a thing that happens. Sometimes you don't feel like doing anything, but then you have friends who, like, show up to, like, pull you out and, like, help you do things to get your mind off, and that feels good. That, like, Kelly now has friends that are coming to help her. Maybe something that she didn't really have before the show started. So I like that part of it. And also, Marco, we actually do get some mentions for his heritage in this episode. At the beginning, he's showing up with ingredients to make tortas, which are like Mexican sandwiches. And then at the very end, like, apparently Kelly knows his middle name. It's like, I thought your middle name was Ubaldo. And it's like, well, it's Spanish for hopeless. No, I don't think I know Spanish, actually. So, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of Marco not knowing Spanish, alluding to that here?
I mean, it's realistic in terms of, I mean, like, I didn't know Spanish until I, like, became, like, a teenager, and I put effort into learning, because, like, even if you grow up, it like, as in America, like, you go to school all the time in English, and then your parents speak English to you, like, in an effort to, like, keep because there's still, like, this stigma of, like, in some families, of, like, needing to keep the child, like, not confused, even though, like, now there's, like, effort that, like, being bilingual is actually, like, helpful for your brain stuff, but, like, there's still some families that don't do that. So anyway, like, I think that's such a realistic thing that, like, even if you're of that heritage, that, like, sometimes you don't grow up speaking Spanish, and it's something that you need to learn anyway. So I enjoy it, and I enjoy the mention of tortas. So like, I've been wishy-washy on the representation of Marco as Mexican in this show, but I think this is, like, one of the better episodes in handling that, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice. I think it's better than, like, Lance speaking Spanish in Voltron. I think this avoids that. That'd be my take. But we refer to discussion on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a nice thing to do. And yeah, we brought back the tortas from the episode last week. Yeah. So there's a follow up on them making food. They get their cooking segment.
Right, and, like, that's another good thing about Calco is, like, it hasn't been these one-off episodes, because they've also had, like, interactions in the background of other episodes. Like, it feels a little more, like, established than, like, other shows might have done these kind of things. Like, also in the Booth Buddies, like, they were at the wedding together. So, like, it's been built up enough that, like, I think that helps to make Calco a more believable ship in the grand scheme of things, even if you subscribe to Starco's Endgame. Like, I think that Calco has had enough build up that it feels good.
So it was very cute. This episode it certainly does feel. Biggest Starco shipper. I'm not anti Calco. So very, very nicely presented here. Anti-Tom Star, but not anti-Calco.
I thought anti-Taurus, like, whatever, Dylan.
Anti-Taurus?
Yeah, that's what you said.
Anti-Tom Star?
No, you messed up.
No, I am Taurus.
I know.
Yeah, so...
I don't know what this means.
Okay, out of business...
Hashtag astrology.
We can quickly run through this. And Michelle, I don't remember if you voiced your thoughts on out of business. Any part of this episode stand out to you?
I mean, I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't fall into the trap of staying there forever. Star was right; they were above it. But the fact that Marco at the last minute wanted to go back for the babies was pretty funny. So that was the high point for me.
Is that why you wanted to go back? Or not for the
for the Marco babies?
Yeah, he says, "I need to save the babies."
Yeah.
That's noble.
I mean, they are just children. They are a part of him, technically. So
baby Marco with wheels for hands. That's what it was. Okay.
Hey guys, did you remember that Marco's supposed to have a little brother? Remember
Honestly,
when that was gonna happen?
Marco
That's
Jr.
what I thought the first one was, and then the second one. I thought Janet just like ripped Marco Jr. from Earth.
That evil, wow. She
could do it. She just shows up in this episode. She's like, oh, don't worry about it. She probably did like a whole, in Adventure Time, they would do like a whole ritual to get into the Nightosphere. That's probably what she did here.
Wow. Janet is basically Pet Butt, though.
She is. That's true.
It's kind of the same. Alex, any highlights from Out of Business?
Favorite part is hard because I'm trying to think of a part I enjoyed about this episode.
That's harsh.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there's a lot of stuff that I didn't like Marco celebrating for a long time about Quest Buy going out of business, which makes no sense to me because Quest Buy is not important to this show.
Okay, we've had multiple Quest Buy episodes, Alex.
Sure. Okay. I'm like, I don't care.
Well, that's also true, but
all the stuff that Jana like makes pop out of nowhere with like evil Marco. And
I like evil Marco with the mole on the other side of his face. Oh crap! It's
like Marco obsession. Okay, and never really follow up on that ever. Star has nice rainbow boots. I guess that's a thing. And why does she like Alvin and the Chipmunks? I guess that's very fitting for her personality. But like the Alvin and the Chipmunks thing is like feels very very weird. But
do you think she's seen the movies, the Squeakquels?
She's definitely seen them, and she enjoys them a lot.
Squeakquel. You just wanted to say Squeakquel.
That's what it's called.
That's what it's called. And the third one's called Road Trip, and we played it on cartoon like 7 times last year. I know the movie way too well.
Ooh.
Isn't John?
It's not good. I mean, it's not a good movie.
John Waters is in the Road Trip.
Yeah, he's in Road Trip.
Great.
This is like our Quest Buy finale this episode, and I guess with last season we have to do finales. We have to do the Kelly origin and to do the Quest Buy finale episode. None of the Quest Buy episodes are ever that great, but this is I like having the Ransom-Gram lady in the beginning.
Who is that? The voice actor sounds so familiar. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
This is why the internet exists, so you can look up voice actors.
Yep, that's why it exists.
Yeah, I guess that's a good. It begins good with Ransom-Gram male person, so that's the good part of this episode.
That's that was a valid thing to say. Answer that question with Quest Buy. Marco's excited because it's out of business sale, but he needs 16 more wallets. Jana I like Jana randomly showing up and Star being like, doesn't matter why Jana's here. Let's go. She's here. I thought that was kind of funny. But it's also frustrating because that's what Jana's character is. But if we're doing that, that's a funny way to comment on it. Who says there's more people than I'm comfortable with? I related to that. Then Jana's like stealing the uniform. The stockroom can read minds, and it makes your brain go gooey. Things we make in the stockroom: unicorn cake.
That was terrifying.
That was terrifying.
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Good imagery though of Jana like ripping open its throat.
That was. Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay. That was very violent. Yeah.
I hated it.
Oh no, you feel bad because the unicorn is like gore.
Yes. And he's like, "Oh, don't worry, it's just raspberry." I'm like, but that's that's your insides.
Yeah,
but dude, who cares? It was
very violent. Yeah, who cares if it tastes good? You're still dying.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's.
Wow.
Anyway.
Okay, they're triggered by the unicorn gore.
Yes.
Okay. It was super violent. It was very weird. Giant eyeball. Star gets like her pigtails curled up. Like that's a new look for her. That was notable. And Baby Marco with wheels for hands. We mentioned that. Dancing penguin. Talking bike named Wheelie. What do we think of the talking bike named Wheelie?
It's a lesser version of nachos. Marco already has nachos.
Yeah,
so why would he want the Wheelie?
And there's also Cloudy. Yeah. Go nachos, then Cloudy, then Wheelie.
Marco has pizza in a jar at some point, which I want to dig into the logistics of how that works. Like, is it like a sauce that's pizza flavored?
No.
Is it like solid?
Pizza. It's the evolution. No, it's like a jam, but it's like the whole pizza.
Can you get like cake in a jar or something? Like there's some dessert in a jar.
Well, yeah, you can make cake in a jar.
It's the evolution of canned bread. It's pizza in a jar.
Wow. Wow.
You could just make a pizza and just stuff it into a jar, and that's just pizza in a jar.
You can just do that. Okay, there you go.
I guess so.
And then, Evil Marco we discussed. And then at the end, Marco's buying the wallets. He wants to get more stuff from the room, but Quest Buy is closed forever at the end.
Rip.
Rip Quest Buy.
And end of an era. Quest Buy.
End of an era. Okay, that's it. Final thoughts on these episodes, Michelle.
I liked them significantly more than the last batch, and that's good. And I mean, stuff's obviously going to happen by the end of the season. So, I mean, I don't want to exhaust my brain thinking about Starco too much. I just like, if they're gonna, I feel like I said this last year, if they're gonna commit to one way or the other, they need to just like do it already, because jerking people around is like not a good move.
Nope. Sticking it out to the end. That's what the show's decided on. Yeah, we've said it for a while, Michelle. We've said they should do it or not do it, but they've not listened. Okay. Sam, final thoughts.
Love is a really strange thing, and when you're a teen, it can be hard, and it's like we move like swing sets. We just like miss each other at different times, but then sometimes we sync up, and it's okay. But I don't know. I hope these kids can make it whatever they decide to do with their romantic lives. I hope that they're happy.
You're rooting for these crazy kids.
Yeah, like any of the crazy kids at this point. As long as they're happy together. I'm just an observer in their relationship, really.
Are we like voyeurs of these children?
Exactly.
That's
exactly what we are.
That's every single show in existence, man. We're just looking at everybody's lives.
I think that's what's especially here. This feels especially uncouth. Observing all of these teenagers' relationship drama.
Yep.
It's like let's save the world already.
On the drama.
Yeah, I guess we do. I mean, I kind of prefer this stuff, but that's okay. Alex, final thoughts.
Emotions are hard, not just for teens, but for adults too. And so, like, this is a thing that we all have to deal with at some point. And yeah, so I don't think that this show is the one to handle it with the maturity that it deserves, but it's dealing with them, and that we'll see how much longer they continue to stretch it out. And Kelly is a nice girl, and Kelly deserves love, and I love Kelly. So as long as how like Kelly's in the intro of the show, and like she's appeared for maybe like 2 or 3, like she's gotten like 2 or 3 episodes of her own since that new intro. So like it feels unjust, and we should fix that.
Okay, so we're going to start the change.org petition to get Kelly in the show more.
Yeah, even if it's already done, but...
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too late for that.
They had their rap party, but it's not going to work, but we could still start it.
I'm going to look up pictures of people cosplaying as Kelly. Has somebody ever done that?
It feels like an easy enough cosplay.
I feel like that would be like super fun. You just like get a shag carpet and put it on yourself.
Kelly's world would be like... Sam, you're just thinking of shag carpets because of the movie last night. That's why.
Wow, that's breaking the meta story of our podcast. They don't know that we did that.
It's out. The podcast is out.
I know, but like, what is last night to them? It could be in like 5 years.
That's true. Check out the Brave Little Toaster podcast. That's out. Okay. And next week, Princess Quassar Caterpillar and the Magic Bell. That's one episode. Ghost of Butterfly Castle, Cornball, and Meteora's Lesson. I'm not really inspired by any of these titles, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe it'll be great. Star will continue weekly through April. Who knows? We might be weekly until the finale. Unsure yet about May, but at the very least, we'll be weekly throughout April. Looking forward to Princess Quassar Caterpillar. Don't know what that is. And, Meteora's Lesson is the one that I thought meant that they'll be babysitting Meteora. So, Maybe we'll see if that was supposed to take place before this. Probably not. But we'll be back next week to cover those episodes of Star. Let us know what you thought of these episodes at overlyanimated.com in the comments or on our YouTube at youtube.com/overlyanimated. Let's plug our Instagram, which is new.
I posted a meme during the podcast.
Oh, you did?
Oh, great.
If I went quiet a little bit there, it's because I was making it.
Instagram.com/OVA podcast.
So follow for the memes and the...
you did. What if we kissed in our memory of the blood moon ball while we're trying to sever our bond? Blush emoji, blush emoji.
Yeah, that's the meme right now.
What is? Explain the meme to me.
Oh my god! So okay, you're obviously not on Twitter or Tumblr because that's the meme. People would be like, "What if we kissed?" And then it's just like a really dumb / weird place. Like, what if we kissed in the therapist's office in The Sopranos? Blush emoji, blush emoji. That's what
wow. I didn't know about this meme either.
Just look up "What if we kiss" on Twitter, and you'll find a lot of. I'm hip.
Yeah, Sam is more hip than that. It's on our Instagram, so look for that meme on Instagram.com/OVA podcast. And we also have other social media. That's Sam isn't posting on those though, so they're not as good because they don't have the. Should we post that meme on our Twitter too? Do you think it's good enough to post on the Twitter, Sam?
Do you?
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. We could get some traction from that. So.
Yeah, hashtag Starco. Get that. Get those retweets.
We'll I don't have the Twitter password. It's up to you.
Yeah, well, maybe. Okay, other podcasts, a bunch of podcasts this weekend at overlyanimated.com. Check all them out. Subscribe to us, not miss our future Star podcast. Our Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all of our current patrons, especially our patrons of the podcast, Dr. Cabbagehead. And thanks to our patron executive producers, John Ryan, Steve, Alex, and you. And also our Discord is overlyanimated.com/Discord. You can talk about Star with us there. That's it. Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
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 Bye.